Today's meditation comes from Judges chapter 6 and 7. So we can notice in the chapter 6 verse 1 says, when the children of Israelites were not faithful to the God, they were worshipping idols, then God handed over them to the Midianites for the 7 long years. After going through this persecution, after going through these difficulties, some of the faithful ones, they realized and they prayed to the God and pleaded for the God's help. But God heard their prayers. God sent the angel from the heaven to meet the Gideon. He was a faithful man in his time. When Gideon was there on the farm field, the angel appeared him and said, the God heard your prayers. The God who delivered Israelites from the Egypt, the same God sent me. And the God is going to deliver the Israelites from the Midianites. The God is going to appoint you as a leader to guide them. The Gideon asked, we have heard from our forefather how God delivered the Israelites. Now where is the same God when we are going through this much difficulties, when we are going through this problematic, where is the God all this while? They questioned the angel of the Lord. But again, Gideon said, if you are the angel of the Lord, you wait here till I come back. He went home and he brought the unleavened bread and the meat. The angel commanded to put them onto the rock. Gideon did it as the angel commanded. The fire came out of the rock and it consumed the meat and unleavened bread. That means the God accepted the sacrifice of the Gideon. But God accepted the sacrifice of the Gideon. The Gideon was gathering the people of Israelites to go fight against the Midianites. So total 32,000 people he was gathered it. Now we can notice another incident which happened. The God commanded Gideon to destroy the Baal temple. And during the night time, the Gideon took 10 of his servants and he destroyed the Baal temple god and he sacrificed for the living God. The next day morning, the people of Israelites, they came and asked, and why did you destroy the God of Baal? Now he is supposed to die because he destroyed our God. The Gideon father said, if your God is the living God, tell your God to destroy my son. But they don't have the answer. They don't have the answer. Because some of the Israelites, they were not realizing why the God handed them to the Midianites. Because they were thinking their gods are powerful than our God. That is what some of the people they think in their heart. But they're not realizing why the God handed them. Because of their sin, because of they're not faithful to the God. That is what He is giving the punishment. So sometimes we can see the parents, they will punish their children to correct them into the right way. In the same way, when we are not faithful to the God may can bring some problems, the God may can bring some punishment to bring back to Him. And the same thing too, it happened. When the children of Israelites, all of them gathered to go fight against the Midianites. 32,000 were there. This 32,000 people, they have to fight with the 1,35,000 people. Now if you are calculating the ratio 1:4, that means per person at least you need to kill the 4 members. Because the Midianites have the well equipments. We can see they are like a grasshopper. Their camels, they have the plenty camels. They have well equipments for the war. But the Israelites are not good warriors. Israelites are not having proper equipments. But all of them, they gathered according to the Gideon's command. But Gideon asked, Lord, if you are going to give the victory, show us a sign. During that night, God said to the Gideon, your fleece on the field, it will be in the dew. The ground will be dry. Usually we know that the fleece is going to be the wet, means the ground also is going to be wet. But next day morning, the Gideon came, he was fleecing it. The water is coming out. But he can notice the ground is in dry. Then again, Gideon wanted to test one more time. Because he is not fully faithful to the God. Lord, if you are not going to get angry upon me, I wanted to do one more test. Make it this fleece dry. The ground should be on the wet. The next day morning, God did it. The Gideon faith was built. As the Gideon testing the God, his faith is increasing it. Then God said, 32,000 people are so much. If they go and fight with the Midianites, they will think they were the strong. They defeated. Their name will be glorified. I don't want their name to be glorified. I wanted to show how I am leading them. My name should be glorified. Tell them to go, those who are fearful, those who are not interested. As soon as the Gideon made the announcement, 22,000 people were left out of 32. So that means 22,000 people, they came for the namesake. But the 10,000 were remaining it. This 10,000, they have to fight with the 1,35,000. So that means for one person, 12.5 persons, 12 to 13 persons, he has to kill. Now 4 persons only, it is difficult. 12 to 13 persons, one person killing, it is very difficult. But God said, these numbers are so much, reduce them. Take them to the lake, tell them to drink the water. While they were drinking the water, those who were drinking, they were lapsing and drinking the water like dog, separate them in one group. And those who are more kneel down and taking the water in their firm hands, separate them. But Gideon separated them into the 2 groups. When Gideon separated them into the 2 groups, those who laps the water, they are the ones chosen. This 300 is enough for me. Tell 9,700 to go home. So out of 32,000, only God selected 300 people to fight against the 1,35,000 people. So that means if you're a human point of view, if you look at one person has to kill 450 people. It is impossible. But God wanted to make it possible without the war. But the people, those who are selected 300, these 300 people were very faithful to the God. These 300 people had the confidence upon the living God. He is going to give the victory. The Gideon might be fearful, but the 300 can be able to defeat. God said, hey, go to the Midianite camp. I am going to talk to your enemies. During that night, when the Gideon went to the Midianite camp, there was one soldier. In his dream, he was telling that God delivered the Midianites into the Israelites' hand. The Israelites defeated the Midianites. Israelites, God fought their war. He was dreaming and saying, then Gideon confidence was built. The God told the Gideonite to select empty patches, torchlight, and trumpets. With these 300 people, they divided into the 3 groups. When they surrounded the Midianite camp, all of them, they broke the empty patches once. They blew the trumpets. They were crying and pleading for the God's help, and they were shouting, God gave us a victory. And they blew the trumpet. They were showing the torchlight in other hand. The Midianites were confused. And they're keeping their knife on their neighbor. They killed among themselves. During that time, God gave the great victory. Without the war, 135,000 people, they killed among themselves, they died. So this is the way our God is going to lead us. This is the way our God is going to guide us. So sometimes we think in our life, why this kind of things God is bringing punishment upon me? Now, if you notice 2020, if we ask any person, 98% people will say, we have gone through the very difficult situation. They lost their loved ones, they lost their jobs, they lost everything, some of them. But still, God protected. Still, God saved our life. So sometimes we may not understand what is the God's plans for us. When things may not happen according to our expectation, we are disgraced, we are disappointed, we are blaming the God. But our God knows what is the best for us. Our God is going to answer in His time. We should not doubt the God. If the God is a delay to answer our prayers, God has special plan. The God may be expecting something from us. We should give to the God. When we give to the God is going to answer everything. Now if you notice, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore most gladly I will rather the boast in my infirmities, that the power of the Christ may be upon me. Verse 10 says, therefore I take pleasure in infirmity, in reproaches, in needs, in persecution, in distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. The Bible also clearly says, my grace is sufficient for you. My grace is sufficient for you. When you are weak, I am there as a strong pillar for you. I am going to guide you. I am going to lead for us your life. Now what is the plan in your life, my dear? When things may not happen, don't be discouraged. Don't doubt the God. The God knows what is the best for us. Sometimes simply we try to blame the God because of our foolishness, because of our mistake. Now think about why the God is not answering. Whether you are lacking with the faith, or whether you are not completely dependent upon the God. When we don't completely depend upon the God may not answer it. When we are completely dependent upon the God is going to guide, the God is going to lead our life. Think about, find our weakness, come close to the God may can give us an eternal life. May God bless all of us.